And just like that, we got it. So every now and then you get a chance to chop it up with Brian Nibbler.
First one.
How you doing, Brian?
Good. Thanks for having me.
I appreciate you. So talk a little bit about AI. I know you've been around Bitcoin for a while. You're out in Utah, right?
Correct.
I love Utah, man. The air quality there is amazing.
Most of the time, yeah. Sometimes in the winter, you get this thing called an inversion where the cold air sinks down into the valley. So for periods of time, there can be really bad air quality. But overall, yeah, it's a lot nicer than someplace like LA. I grew up in Southern California, for example.
Yeah, LA's
Definitely
got
better
all
overall.
the garbage.
So what do you want to know about AI?
Everything. I have a book coming out called AI or Die. I think that either people find ways to get AI to work for them right now, or they are fucked because everyone else that does is going to scale their business and their brand and their sales faster.
Yeah, I think that's basically correct. It's been tough for me to ascertain exactly what's going on because at first, the early days of LLMs like ChatGPT, they weren't really that great. There's still a lot they couldn't do. They didn't even have access to live web pages for the first year or so, and they couldn't really create very well structured or human sounding written content at all. Of course, you fast forward to today, and all of a sudden you have multimodal LLMs where you can have text to voice, text to image and video, and the regular old school ChatGPT type of prompting, just text to text. And things are advancing really rapidly. And there's even agents now, as you're probably aware, where you can just automate entire processes. You can use teams of agents to be like a little marketing team where there's one agent that comes up with ideas, another one that creates something, another one that refines the voice and the content in different ways, and then another one that will post it and make sure everything's right. That's like a company I'm working with called Clients.ai. Uh, they have this whole system that just for one monthly subscription, you can have these agents perform all kinds of tasks. I'm still new to it, still learning how to use it, but it can do things, for example, like automate DMs, have entire conversations, human sounding conversations with someone, and then look at their website and profile and pitch them a little, something like a pitch deck or a customly created product of any kind that is customized to them. It can write customized emails, can manage your emails. There's
Can it manage your text messages?
um, I'm not sure if it works on that. If there's not something to work in that system like SMS text, then I'm sure there will be soon enough. I don't know this one in particular. I don't think it has that functionality, but the guy who runs it, his name's Kyle. He's a great guy. He's always rolling out new features and doing all this stuff. So that'll probably be coming sooner or later. And the last thing, what was the last thing I wanted to say? Oh yeah, there's also agents like Lazy Apply where you can apply to hundreds of jobs in a single day because you just you can get your resume, for example, tailored by an AI tool that helps you put in different bullet points with all the correct keywords for applicant tracking systems. And then you could take that resume and put it into something like Lazy Apply. That's just one of many of these types of tools where you basically give us some information about yourself, upload your resume, tell it what kind of jobs you want to look for. It'll come up with a list in a matter of seconds. You can select which ones you want or don't want. And then you just, with one click, it's connected to your Gmail and it will go through, the agent just runs, you leave your computer and your browser open and it just goes one by one, goes to all those jobs, fills in everything, attaches your resume, and it'll even some, like on Greenhouse and other job boards, sometimes they ask for verification to make sure you're a real person, funny enough, and they'll send a code, a one-time password code, to your email, and the agent will open that email right away, get the code, and put it into the application. So it's starting to get to the point where even things put in place to stop automated systems are becoming outdated. I'm sure there'll be new ones sooner or later, but I was on the fence as to whether or not all this was really going to replace people in their jobs. I mean, but as time goes on, there's more and more that you just don't need humans for. Like, I hired a video editor in 2024. I want to say like early mid 2024, and he was doing 8 short YouTube clips for me every week, and he was great. And it costs, or no, every month. It was 8 a month actually, so 2 a week, and that was for 200 a month. Now I use a tool called Opus Clip, where you just take one long form video link, YouTube, Vimeo, whatever, and you copy paste it in there, and in a minute or two, it'll create anywhere from 20 to 40 or more shorts, anywhere from 20 seconds to, I think, up to almost 2 minutes each. And it gives you a virality score for each of them on a scale of however many out of 100, and tells you if anything's trending, and it does captions automatically. And they even have an AI editor tool now where you can go in, and it's kind of like sort of like CapCut, but simpler and even easier, more limited too, of course. You can add AI generated B-roll footage. You can.
Well, here's the interesting thing, and I don't mean to cut you off, but
Go for it.
With Opus Clips, it's saving you time. It allows you to scale faster, and that's what AI is inherently going to do. Now, CES is in town this week here in Vegas, and all of CES, everybody, I don't care if it's your toaster, is integrated with some form of AI.
Yeah, there's really no way not to, no reason not to. And it's interesting. I'm active on LinkedIn most of the time, and there's some people who have more or less created a whole personal brand around being like anti-AI crusaders, and it works for them. That's great, gets some engagement. But I feel like part of it is fueled by some sense of cope around the fact that, we're going to go back to the way things were, or that AI is not going to take.
No, there's no way to go back.
Jobs.
The cat is out the bag. What's it? It's called a cat. Cat is out of the bag, or the horse is out of the barn.
Yeah, Pandora's box has been opened, and
no way to put it back in the box. I mean, you could probably put it back in the box, but that would require a lot of effort to end civilization, probably.
Yeah, maybe shut down. It's sort of like Bitcoin. The only way to stop AI would be to shut down the entire internet, turn off every computer in the world, and let it stay that way forever. So
at the end of the day, I tell people this all the time. If you don't get AI to work for you right now, you're just not going to scale as fast as those people that do. A good friend of mine today, he's telling me about how he's like, just starting to add people, blah, blah, blah. And he finds it challenging to add people. And I told him, I said, you could do a lot of the things that you're looking to add people for with AI. And I just don't understand why people don't take this more urgently and incorporate AI agents into their business to help them automate and scale things better.
There's a resistance to it. I think that's sort of what I was getting at.
I think people have seen a lot of sci-fi films, and everyone thinks the Terminator's coming, which probably, just so we're clear, we're probably going to get terminated by the Terminator one day. And it'll probably be an Optimus robot. So let's be careful.
Yeah. And until then, you're right. There's a limited window of time where we can still use these things to our advantage and kind of get
For
out
me time,
ahead of it.
drink creatine protein shakes. Creatine.
Okay. And yeah, because at some point everybody will already be using it everywhere, and it'll, sort of be saturated. I guess the edge you still have right now, you can still have an edge by using with certain AI tools correctly that are right for you in the right way.
Like which tools? Which ones would you
At some
recommend?
point, they'll just be commonplace. Everyone will use them. Well, it depends on what your business is, what you're going for. Like for me, I use Opus Clip, as I was talking about, and I use a custom trained GPT when necessary. I don't rely on it too much because that is a trap people can fall into, especially with written content. People just rely on the AI 100% and don't think for themselves, don't polish things up or edit the end result or anything like that. So that's probably one of the most common and most harmful traps. But I trained a custom GPT on a lot of, not everything I've ever written, because that would take forever, but I took 2 or 3 articles of every type from like every source, because I've written hundreds of articles out there from being a freelance copywriter and journalist for about 8 years for so many different companies and brands, and then blog posts of my own website copy, my LinkedIn profile, portions of books I've written that are published or ones that are not published yet. I just took as much stuff as possible and trained it on that. Only took a few hours maybe. And then from there, I just, whenever I create something with it, I tell it if it did something wrong and to update its programming. And then, so it gets a little better every time and it keeps learning. And it's really good for things like, after I publish a podcast, if I want to create some social media posts about it and give a quick overview, I can add my own stuff to that too, but it'll very easily condense, an hour-long conversation just by giving it the, either the full transcript or whatever the generated, overview description was. And then I can add a few sentences of my own, like we talked about this and this, and I want to emphasize that. And it can just create really quickly in my voice very well, a couple sentences, some bullet points, things like that that just allow me to create social media posts a lot faster. And if you do it right, there's really no way to tell between something generated that way and something that you actually sat down and wrote yourself. Because if you just use the generic chat GPT or something like that, then you get a very generic response. And even those are starting to sound a little more human. But if you want something to be in your voice, you're going to have to train it on stuff that you've done. But, scrolling through social media, especially LinkedIn, I just had this realization the other day that I'm looking at these posts, reading them, reading the comments, and almost all the posts are generated by AI. You can tell because there's a certain structure.
On LinkedIn?
Yeah, you'll
Yeah,
see.
LinkedIn is full of AI, whether it's DMs or messages. I don't even use LinkedIn anymore. It's useless.
Yeah, and you can see things like, it's not this, M dash, it's that. And there's a whole bunch of other patterns, like using the M dash a lot, saying comparing two things, contrast, it's not this, it's that, using bullet points with emojis and all those type of things. They'll just be like super, super long form posts that seem more or less human, but then when you recognize those patterns, you realize it's not. And then people commenting seem like a lot of them are quick AI responses too, because those are often structured the same way, where it just says, "Oh, great point. I like how you describe this. What do you think
Yeah,
about this?"
exactly.
Like
It's kind of weird the time we're in right now, because I have to do a double take on almost every video and think to myself, is this a real video or is this AI generated?
Yeah, I know. Even if they're kind of ridiculous. I know somebody posted a meme one time of like a bull stomping through a street and jumping on a car, and people are running away terrified and stuff, and people were arguing over whether it's real. And I had to watch it like 5 times before I saw the hood of the car, or the roof of the car. After the bull steps off, it popped back into place just like it was undamaged. But that was really the only clue you
Wait,
had.
I got to tell you one thing. I got to show you something that'll won't blow your mind, but I find it to be at the very least interesting. So, you ever see the baby videos?
Mm-mm.
These videos are insanely viral.
You have to reach for the stars. You can't just, you can't just limit yourself to,
When does the Reach for the Stars Rachel Pizzolatto t-shirt launch?
Hey,
2 days.
But
Reach for the stars.
I mean?
So that's an interview I did, and here's another AI generated video. And here's an interview.
Your best networking tip to the younger generation.
I'll tell you what Jim Rohn taught me, because it's the best advice I ever got. I was 17 years old. I went to him one day and said, help me understand why we're broke. It doesn't seem fair that some school teacher makes, in those days, $35,000 a year, and this billionaire hedge fund guy makes $1 billion in a year. And he said, Tony, listen to me. He said something I'll never forget. He goes, we're all equal as souls. You're right, but we're not equal in the marketplace. And he said, your job, it's very simple. You have to become more valuable. You have to do more.
And it's funny because we're talking about AI. And one of the things that I believe AI is doing really good is video content. I think it's you there? Whoops, I lost you. I got rid of the wrong one. You there?
Yep.
Yeah, so one of the things I think AI is doing really well is humorous videos. Like this, that's kind of stuff like that can literally make your content more humorous.
True. Yeah, I've seen ones like that are of 2 or more cats having a podcast.
Yeah.
Really
I mean, I got a podcast I'm launching with my 4 dogs, and we're using the same tool, and it's amazing because people will pay attention to my dogs talking about a subject matter longer and more often than they will about this podcast right here.
Right.
And it's not even real. Like it's imaginary video content created by an AI tool, but it's entertaining. And that's what you have to do these days is you have to educate and you have to entertain.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can use all that to your advantage still for some time. It won't always be the case, I would guess, because at some point more people figure this out and start doing all of these things like the examples you just showed. But you can, it's easier than ever to create content that gets attention, grabs attention, retains attention, and just gets an audience.
Well, we live in the attention economy. So the more attention you get, whether it's with a talking baby doing an interview on a podcast or having your dogs do a podcast, the more attention you can get, the more people you can reach.
Yeah, of course. It's all about, in the simplest statement, it's how do you get attention and then monetize that attention? Of course, there's a whole lot more to it than that, but at the same time, that is kind of all it comes down to at the same time.
Do me a favor. Take a look at the camera right now and look at one person watching this video, this interview, and inspire them to do more than what they're currently doing with AI. Give them some inspiration to get away from their fears and pursue using AI to work for them.
I got it. You can hire me as your consultant and I will eliminate your fears. Done.
Done. Easiest way out. You're afraid? Hire me. I'll take it over.
Or at the very least, follow me on social media, on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn.
What's your Twitter?
And also subscribe to my newsletter and podcast.
What's your Twitter?
Twitter is @BDN content.
Okay. Well, click the link below. Brian's a good follow. Brian, listen, I love AI. We got to do this again more often and talk about things that are happening because AI is growing at such a pace. In 3 months, you and I can have a new conversation and probably talk about things that nobody's even talking about right now.
Right. Okay.
Awesome. I appreciate the time, man. Hold on one second.